he's committed. He's always there.
Best trainer, I've got to go for Chris Mullen. Just soft arena, unbelievable pass and go. Such a good player, and also headers and volleys, really good at that as well. So I'm going for Mullen.
Best trainer would be Max Coventry.
Okay. Best trainer, Max Coventry. Always going in hard, always there. Good effort every time.
I've not really been to enough training sessions to say, but I'll have a guess at Tom Wardley. He looks like he works pretty hard. You see him going into the gym and out often enough.
Best trainer has to be Max Cove. He's just a workhorse.
Triggs always get down and training. Puts a hell of a lot of effort in, actually. Yeah, Trig active.
Yeah, wait for the future captain. I'm going to go for Cove because he's always good.
I went for you, but mainly because your captain have to be there every training session, so you don't really get a choice.
Just because he loves running.
So Adidas maybe? Yeah, I think he's got pretty good durability, good grip on the rubber crumb, so yeah, Adidas. Maybe Calf, always works hard.
Say Chris Mulliner, and in terms of actual worst ability, it'd be Tim Godfrey.
Myself? Can you vote yourself? Yeah, I'm shit to train. I never turn up. I'm always hungover. But it's probably quite good value because I can't heading game and shit. So me or P probably.
Worst trainer, Henry Taylor probably.
P. Always got an excuse, injury, hungover, something like that. Never there.
Let's go Henry Taylor. Just a joke.
The worst P, because he seems to always tweak his ankle just before we're about to go on a jog.
Who never turns up to training? Phil Parks is always training with us.
He always just seems to pull out any sort of aggressive fitness that we do.
I have to say myself, I think I've been to one session all year.
Frank, on the basis that he never ever turns up.
I went for Frank, because he's never there, which is probably
Tim, for after he dives, try to claim a foul.
I might have to go for Tim.
Tim just doesn't stop. It's never his fault. Just terrible.
Biggest moaner, gotta be Tim Godfrey.
Yeah, give me Godfrey. Always made.
I'm going to say Tim. He always seems to have something that's not quite going his way.
Tim Godfrey, as shown by his ridiculous dives and then shouts of referee.
Biggest moaner again, Taylor.
Biggest moment has to be Tim Godfrey, hands down, easily.
Tom Lester. You should see him when he gets subbed off the pitch. It's not someone you want to be around at that point in time.
Probably me. Especially when he gets sucked off. I go mental. Yeah, I go for me on that.
I think it's like speaks for itself. Adam Blevins all day long.
Definitely think probably has to be Adam Blevins. He's just so quick with his turns and his flicks, causing everyone trouble.
That's got to be Blevins. On the wing, terrorising the full-backs. So, yeah, Adam Blevins is the one.
Most skillful is Blevins, for quite obvious reasons.
Blevins.
I went for Beale.
Adam Blevins, no explanation required.
Most skillful in between Mulliner and Leicester, but I think Leicester, he scored a screen and just a solid midfielder.
Blevins has got some sick moves, has to be said. Tim Godfrey has got some sausage. Tim's no, he's got that one move where it's like, but between Blevins or maybe Blevins is good.
I'd say on the pitch you'd have to be Adam Blevins, but judging by his success off the pitch, would be Henry Taylor.
Blevins.
Yeah, gotta be Taylor. Getting hit over the head with the traffic.
I'm going to say Henry for his hard tackle.
It's got to be Townend. Big man at the back. Also, after the C-team fight, he did manage to get blood on his shirt, which suggests that he managed to lay a few punches, unlike some.
No, our man of the team is going to be P, because whenever he gets the ball, any defenders on him just like fall over pretty much.
Definitely Tommy Wardley or Chris Pettit, being from Liverpool.
I'll go for Sam Townend.
Hard man. This was difficult, but I chose Carlos in the end. Carlos was cool.
Oh yes, Tom Wardley. because we were in a game once and he had a massive fight with this guy. I was like, I'm gonna fucking annoy you. I was like, what's Tom doing? But I'll go for Tom Wardley. Oh man.
Sam Townend. The little street fight we got into, I think it was 3 blows without any.
Well, we've got a few rugby players on the team, so I think it's probably going to have to go down as one of them. Yeah, I think I'll have to go for Frank Phillips for the half.
Definitely not Henry. Probably Sam.
Tempted to say that's me again.
I'd have to go Leicester, just because he's the jester from Leicester, but I don't really know why. I don't know real reason.
The Joker probably peaks. He still thinks Newcastle are better than Sunderland.
Gotta be Jester.
Joker, Taylor, obviously.
I'm not funny though. Joker, Leicester, the Jester.
Andy Philpott all day long.
I went for Leicester, Jester.
It has to be, just for the name, Tom Lester, the jester.
Andy Philpott, he always seems to be having a laugh about something.
It have to be the jester from Leicester, Tommy Lester, Mr. Social himself.
Blevins is quick.
Philpott, Andy Philpott.
Andy Jackson for that. Seen him chasing down some wingers very fast.
It's got to be Blevins again, really.
I'm going to go for Blevins again. I think he's pretty quick.
Fastest. I'm between Cov and Wardley, but for drinks, it's Cov.
It's hard really, because I think we're generally a pretty slow team. But I think Andy Jackson just takes it.
Fastest Theo.
I'd like to think myself, but I think probably Frank Phillips. Just
Fastest. I think I went for Vio as well.
It's probably me. I'm really slow. Probably get forward too much and never get back. Me.
Philpott. I've never seen him.
Tom Wardley.
I might just say P.
Definitely myself.
Henry Taylor. Sometimes a little says running in sand. I'm sorry, Henry.
Probably Sam as well.
I can Tragaxis. Mental wise, Tim Godfrey again.
Slowest, Carlos.
Here again.
Sam Townend. I don't know really, I think I might go for myself here. Might be a bit controversial, but yeah, Tim Godfrey.
Say Andy Jackson seems quite clever.
No, Chris Pettit. I think he does a pretty hard degree and he seems clever.
Let's just go for the captain. Get some brownie points.
I've got a feeling Pettit might be quite intelligent.
I went for P as that. For that as well. Just he looked like.
Most intelligent, I think, Blevins.
I'll go for Tom Lester. In terms of football, he always seems to get the most intelligent passes and find the space.
Mulliner. Mulliner's really intelligent.
Most intelligent Mulliner.
Bet Tragaxis is really clever actually. I don't know why, just get that vibe.
Leicester just says really, really terrible stuff, like just so stupid, but actually he's probably clever. But
What do you do again? I'm joking. Like, just because he's northern, he's like, a bit like, oh, Godfrey.
Tom Lester is just a dope little shit.
I'm going to go Tim, just because he told me that he voted for himself as most intelligent.
I have to go for Leicester just for some of the quotes he comes out with.
Least intelligent, I'd have to say Taylor again. Why else would you piss on the floor?
Least intelligent Henry Taylor for thinking it's the studio dance floor was a toilet.
Sam Townsend. Never heard him talk a word of sense.
I decided to go for Henry, mainly because the knock on the head of that traffic cone probably not a few IQ points out of it.
I'll go for Max Coventry for his suggestion of off corners, the defenders leaving the box to give the goalkeeper more room.
Captain Sam Townend. It's taken him 4 years and he still hasn't graduated.
I'll go for Henry Taylor for inventing a social way you have to turn up dressed in a vest.
Stoke. It's got to be Stoker for always wearing caps to like dinner and lunch.
Stoker always has that stupid hat on. Tim Godfrey, he loves to wear a beanie and pretend he's David Beckham. For during the fashion show time, somebody thinking he had all the clever. Tim Godfrey, worst dresser.
Worst dress sense, I'll say Godfrey for his old socks.
Stoke, just because, I mean, you can't really be that edgy if you're from, like, Sunderland. So, yeah, Stoke, as he's from Harrogate.
Stoker, those baseball caps, gotta go.
Oh, I went for Tim because of his yellow and black combination of socks in the matches.
Say Henry Taylor, considering he buys all his clothes about 4 sizes too small, and then proceeds to do the Henry Taylor technique of rolling up the sleeves every now and again. So it has to be Henry Taylor.
I'm going to Stoker just on the basis of his terrible red hat. It's awful, it's atrocious.
The worst dressed Tim for always wearing that hat that they think makes him look like David Beckham.
Yeah, Harry Stoker, I think. That little cap he's been doing around in college. I don't know if he thinks it's Josh Gordon or something.
Worst music, Henry Taylor for putting on Queen during a pre-lash last week.
Probably say I've got really shit taste in music. Probably me. I'm going to see Bruce Springsteen on Friday, so probably me. I've got terrible things.
Worst taste in music, Stoko, having been in this car a few times.
Godfrey, car on the way down, terrible.
We have to go for Tom Lester again. You know, like, I remember rocking up in his room and he's got a Robbie Williams calendar up. So
That's crazy. That's got to be Godfrey as well, because every time we go in his car, it's Star FM on the radio, like Westlife or whatever. So.
Well, I've heard Tim's been playing a bit of Avril Lavigne, so on that basis it has to be him.
I just put names in a hat.
Fair enough.
Picked out a name, and it happened to be Veal again.
It'd have to be Tim Godfrey, because there's been many times I've walked past his room and he'd be bursting out some Avril Lavigne. And he'd claim it'd be on Spotify, but that's because he searched Avril Lavigne on Spotify, so it'd be Tim.
I've heard rumours about Tim Godfrey's taste in music. I've heard there's a lot of Lana Del Rey and Carly Rae Jepsen in his car on the way to matches.
Yeah, I've definitely heard some bad things about Tim Godfrey with his music. Recently, blasting out the Carly Rae Jepsen Call Me Maybe in his car. So yeah, Tim Godfrey for that as well.
Stoker's terrible at dancing.
Leicester, he's had some pretty shocking moves in the club, and him grinding on that girl was just a terrible sight. I never want to see it again. It's almost as bad as Steve Hook fingering the girl in Love Shack last year.
I go for Henry Taylor for his I thought I was in the urinals dance.
I'm going to go for Henry just because he doesn't dance, he just chants a boy girl.
Definitely Henry for his rendition of Levels in Market Vaults a few weeks ago.
I think Henry Taylor generally either chatting to a girl or pissing on the floor, so yeah, Henry Taylor.
Worst dancer, Henry Taylor, again, pissing on the floor isn't a good dance move.
A few shocking movies. I'll have to go for Henry Taylor.
I seem to remember Adam Blevins busting a few dodgy moves at some point. So.
Yeah, Taylor.
Probably Leicester.
Tommy Wardley stepping up next year to manage captain either the Bs or the As.
I'd have to say Wardley. I mean, he nearly went for it anyway, but he's pretty good leader on the field. I think he'll be captain of the Bs next year.
Maybe Mulliner?
Definitely Tom Wardley, future captain.
Future captain, I'll say Jacko, because I think he'll be in the C team for a while, but he's a solid player.
Man City next year. It's got to be Tommy Wardley. Future team captain. Easy.
I'd definitely go for Wardley next.
I think Yardley's the obvious choice here. I think next year he'll be a great captain.
I'll say Tom Wardley. I know he didn't do it this year for his own sort of ambitions to play higher, but I think he's got good leadership ability.
No, Wardley, if he stays, I think he'll be a great captain.
I'll have a guess at P. He seems to have that vibe.
Like, I would think it's a P, but yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Longest in the shower, Tom Lester, because he's washing sick off himself.
Adam Blevins.
Oh yeah, Frank Phillips.
I reckon P. I reckon he dreams of
I
something.
went for P, right? Mainly because at the training session, he said he was going to the toilet and he was gone for a good 30 minutes.
There you go for Henry Taylor. Pretty main man.
Henry, on the basis that he manages to get girls, despite the fact that he'll like cry or get in a fight on every night out he goes out on, so it's got to be him.
Godfrey, after all those dives, he needs to quite a long time to get those grass stains out his knees.
Let's go for Frank. His hair's quite long. Shampoo for quite a while.
And longest in the shower, I'll say Leicester.